Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we'll be unboxing the retro version of RAGNAR BLACKMANE, having a look at his history and comparing him to the new Primaris model. So here we go, here's the retro fine cast model of RAGNAR BLACKMANE. And before we unbox him and take a look at the model, I thought it'd be cool to look at the White Dwarf magazine, and a big thanks and shout out to Will for sending me the PDF of this. This is the magazine from December 1992, so just over 29 years ago, and in here is RAGNAR BLACKMANE. So I thought we could have a look at the magazine and the article before we look at the model. So here he is featured in this article in the White Dwarf magazine, and it tells us that RAGNAR BLACKMANE is the youngest wolf lord in the long history of the Space Wolves, and he takes his surname from the pelt of the black-maned wolf that forms his personal totem and company banner, and he joined the Wolf Guard directly from the Blood Claws after he slew the orc boss Borzag Khan and his entire bodyguard in close combat. And I'm pretty sure this picture here of him is the metal version. So he's got these two banners on his back, which don't come in the fine cast model we'll be looking at in this video. But really interested to see him with the blonde hair, and that's how I'm going to paint him for my Space Wolves army as well. But the newer version has him with black hair. But yeah, I'm going to stick true to this retro version from 1992 and go with the blonde hair for mine. So I'm so grateful to Will for sending me this PDF. It's really awesome to read through the history like this and really get a feel for what the Space Wars were all about when they first came out. And I'm trying to find the exact date for when this model was released. This is 1992, and so it's featured in here, but it must have been around for a little while before that. And I've even read that it was around during the Rogue Trader times. But if you know the exact year this was released, this model, I'd love to know. So if you can add it in the comments, that'd be great. I found a really good article on the Warhammer community site that showed a little bit of history of RAGNAR BLACKMANE, and there's only like a couple of models anyway of him for the whole time, and so in this 30-year period we've only seen two different sculpts. And here's the most recent one, RAGNAR BLACKMANE as a Primaris model. It looks great, so much movement, dynamic pose, the little piece of terrain sticking out that he's leaping off just looks great, so a real big difference. But when we look at the details, and we'll go through some comparison photos in a second, not an awful lot's changed really on those details. But there is something about this like original retro model. It's a bit derpy looking, but it's so cool. That pose is just so like iconic of the original Space Marines. I just think it's awesome. So as I'm building a firstborn Space Wolves army, I thought this would be a great addition to that army. But let's take a look at those comparisons between the features of the model and look at the old and new and how they've changed. So here you can see the backpacks, and although it's a lot crisper on this new version, the lines are a lot cleaner. I think you've also got to think that the painting has probably improved as well. But I mean, looking at those compared side by side, there's not a huge difference. I mean, the vent at the top is obviously a lot more detailed too. But all up, I think both really kind of hold up. Then we've got the belt here as well. So we've got the wolves and the like gem. And yeah, again, obviously more crisp on the right, but the old version's not too bad really. So I think it's all right. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I like the chains going across too. I think that works nicely in the rune, and even the pouches are okay. So I think it's not going to be as good once it's painted, and I think to get it looking great, you'd have to be a real good painter, and I'll just be doing like tabletop ready techniques where I'm dry brushing. But I still think there's enough texture and detail there for it to look pretty good. Here's quite a difference though on the shoes. You can see he's got these spikes almost like crampons on the new model, very crisp and clean, where it's a bit clunky on the other one, but nothing a bit of snow won't hide, so I'm sure we can disguise that a little bit. And once it's on that ice base with a bit of snow around it, I don't think you're going to notice at all. But really fun to have this retro model. But let's get on with the unboxing part of the video now, and then we can have a look at the model up close when it's all put together. So here we go, here's this, and I bought this on eBay. I got it for £15, that included delivery, so I was really happy with that. And yeah, great looking model, really fun and old school, and so I was kind of, didn't plan to get this from a Space Wolves army. When I saw it on eBay, I thought I've got to do it. And the codex now for Space Wolves is really good for RAGNAR BLACKMANE too. So let's get this open and we'll take a look. And these little cards, I just use the scissors to get it open and then we'll pop it out. Finecast. I've heard loads of bad things about Finecast, but I've done a few models now for the Space Wolves and I haven't really had a problem with them. This is the first one where a part has broken. Actually, no, it's not, because part of the Cyber Wolf's leg snapped. So yeah, you've got to be careful on the thin parts. I've got to fix that Cyber Wolf soon. But here he is. So you just get a backpack, a base, and the model itself. And here he is up close. You can see there's a little bit to tidy up, but not too bad. A little bit underneath there by the horn. Just got to trim away. That's probably the most difficult part, but the rest are pretty accessible and pretty straightforward to trim up. So this isn't going to take long at all. But not bad details, really. For a 30-year-old sculpt, this is all right. I'm looking forward to getting him painted. He looks pretty good. He even got a scar on his face that you can see. And the texture on the back, that's not bad at all either. So yeah, really liking this. I think it's going to look great alongside all the other firstborn Space Marines. Here's the backpack, just 3 little bits to trim off on that, and a little tiny bit between each of the 2 pairs of vents there. So yeah, a little bit of trimming up. But this is all we've got to glue on, and I'll use some super glue for that. Some the Gorilla gel glue has worked so far really well on the other models I've done. And here he is next to Jarl's Stormcaller, and size-wise the same. I might just raise his base a tiny bit just to give him a little bit more height, but he's got that kind of top knot going on, so he is going to look pretty high compared to the other models. Now, one thing I've got to do is change this base, because that's too small for the rules now, and I'll be using a 40mm base, I believe, and I'll do that in the same style as I've done all the frosted ones. I'll trim that bit off the bottom, pop him on, and then I can put a little bit of Valhalla Blizzard snow effect around the bottom. So there we go, there's the retro model, and I think this is going to be brilliant fun to have in the army. It's really cool to learn about the history, and I'm so glad, again, thanks to Will for sending me that White Dwarf magazine, because it's really kind of helped a lot to get into the nostalgia of it all. Here's the one little mishap. This little tail snapped off the bottom of the gun. And so I was going to glue it back on, but I thought, it's just going to keep snapping off now. So I've left it. I might stick it on another part of the body, but I don't think it takes away from the model at all. In fact, it might look a better profile without it. So I'm just going to leave it as is. And then once he's painted, I think he's going to look great on this base. So can't wait to get to that stage. And here he is now with the other characters from the Space Wolves army. And here you can see on the table, I've got my army in progress. I'm on day 13 of a 30-day challenge at the moment as this video is being made, and each day I'm putting a behind the scenes video up on the channel. So I'll put a link at the end of this video in case you want to watch that, and then you could see exactly how a 3,000 point army is put together, from planning to building to painting. And then once I've done that, I'm going to bring out a whole new rules series for Warhammer 40,000 using all these models and some Necrons as well. And so the challenge is up on the video if you want to watch it from day 1 right through to day 13. And if you're watching this in a few weeks' time, then there's a good chance everything's finished and you can see the whole army put together. And there'll be loads of videos coming out, not just for this series where I do behind the scenes episodes, but also for unboxing videos like this one, deep dives where we go into each unit, and also painting videos, detailed painting videos on how to get your army painted nice and easy and quickly. I hope you enjoyed the video. I think it was really fun to take a look back and see where this guy's come from, his roots. And so yeah, hope you enjoyed it. And thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters who make these daily videos possible, and if you're interested in joining the community, it'd be awesome to see you there, and I'll put a link for that in the description down below.